We are going to begin, though, with Chief Meteorologist Mike Iscovitz, who you have been busy throughout the morning keeping us safe, and we certainly appreciate you.
Well, I'm amazed at how the people of the city just like sprung up and ended up going to Eleanor Tinsley and to the Miller Outdoor Theater and just like it just happened. It's funny. It wasn't like it was an organized event. That's outstanding. Now, one thing I'll tell you is that it's getting interesting on the roadways. The ice and the snow is actually starting to thaw and get slushy in a lot of spots, and we have seen people driving by, although this view right now, the 610 West Loop, there's only a couple of cars there, so just continue to please be careful. The temperature's actually risen, quote unquote risen, so it's gone from 27 degrees up to officially 32 right now. That's actually the Bush Airport temperature. So some other spots are getting just a little bit above freezing. I can't get enough of this video from New Orleans. It's unbelievable. I mean, like if there weren't a palm tree there, you would think maybe this is coming from Green Bay or something like that. New Orleans is getting pelted right now with snow and winds that have been gusting above 45 miles per hour, howling right off of Lake Pontchartrain right there. I mean, it's just an amazing, amazing sight. So folks, they're definitely hunkering down, to say the least. All right, the winter storm has stretched. It began actually over here around San Antonio and Victoria and Corpus Christi, and then moved across where we had a blizzard warning that was in effect until noon. It just expired. There was a blizzard warning for Beaumont and Port Arthur, back over here to Lake Charles and over to Acadiana, and just unbelievable amounts of snow and wind. But notice our radar right now is not really showing much. Now, there still are a few flakes falling. And maybe even a few sleet pellets, even though it's not necessarily showing up here. It's just very kind of low-end reflectivity that's not really showing up. But for the most part, it looks like the event is coming to an end, at least as far as the precipitation. We're looking for a hard freeze tonight with frigid conditions and potentially, in fact, very likely, icy conditions from 6 p.m. tonight through 9 a.m. tomorrow. We have what's called an extreme cold watch that's in effect, and that is to let you know that the wind chill values could get close to 10 degrees. So because we have snow and ice lingering on the roadways and because there's a high chance for some of it to just start to melt and get slushy today, we're worried about overnight ice and by tomorrow morning. This is the latest outlook for low temperatures tonight. Now, the low temperature forecast is sort of shifting a little bit based on, you know, how much snow fell and where the snow is going to sort of linger through the overnight hours. Right now, we just saw at the end of the last hour from Jade Flurry, who was up in the Woodlands area, they had like, you know, half an inch to an inch of snow. A lot of it is starting to melt a little bit. We're looking for lows tonight that will be very cold, still a hard freeze in the low 20s, and there may be a couple of spots that dip into the teens as well, but it's not going to be widespread teens, I don't think. 30 right now is the Hobby Airport temperature, and the reason is that we have more sun that's peeking through to the north. So notice College Station is at 38. It's the warmest place across the area, and then sort of the opposite of what you would expect. Areas near the coastline are the coldest because that's where we've had the most recent wintry precipitation coming down. Wind chill values are in the teens right now and going to rise a little bit as we head into the afternoon. Here's your hour-by-hour forecast for Pearland. So we're going to be hanging around the middle and eventually the upper 30s heading into the afternoon before dipping down here and kind of bouncing around most likely the middle 20s overnight, maybe some low 20s. And then up here around Cypress, there's a good chance that you'll hit the upper 30s today, around 39. Maybe you can luck out and hit 40, and then falling back down here into the middle 20s coming up by this evening. So JD, John Dawson, is over in the Weather Center right now. Been taking a look at the sort of forecast end of things, you know, and it does look like everything's kind of winding down out there. And we will see some sun, I think, in places by the afternoon.
Yeah, I think for sure some of us are going to have some sunshine in the afternoon. And for most of us, though, I think we're going to get just a peek of the sun right as it's time for the sun to set, and those skies are going to continue to clear throughout the afternoon and sort of late afternoon and into the evening in those overnight hours. Another one of those reasons why we're expecting a very cold night tonight, coldest night that we've seen so far in this Arctic blast that we've been a part of. So futurecast now is what we're looking at when we see most of the snow has really exited the Houston area. Maybe just a little bit of a dust happening right along our coast, but notice how we're trying to get those clouds cleared out, and we'll get a little bit of sunshine kind of worked in. As I mentioned right before, it's time for the sun to set, and then as we get into the overnight hours, clear skies will be predominant, and that will help us allow for the very cold temperatures. And you'll notice that all the rain and the moisture gets gets moved over to our east and ends up eventually impacting the panhandle of Florida. Is probably going to be dealing with some snow later on today, but we're kind of passing that along, letting some other folks deal with that. Here's what we're looking at with some of our computer models on that snow forecast. We're not looking for any more snow, measurable snow really falling the rest of today. Of course, what's on the ground is going to be the problem, but as we move over to the east, it continues to add up. Getting all the way over to the east coast could get close to 5 inches of snow with this event still unfolding. So here's that radar again. Most of that moisture continues to move over to our east, and the kind of the support in the atmosphere that helps kind of lift that. And we'll see the temperatures now into Houston at 32, and it's going to continue to creep up into the 34, 35. I guess some of us will probably even hit 37, but I think we're going to be stuck in the 30s. I don't think anyone's going to hit 40 today. We had that blizzard warning for Beaumont and over into parts of Louisiana. That expired at the top of the hour at noon. We still have our winter storm warning until 6 p.m., and then the winter storm warnings over to our east last until midnight tonight. So one more look again at this futurecast as we're working our sunshine back in just a little bit as best we can, and then we're continuing to look for that hard freeze tonight. That's what I really wanted to make sure that you're ready for. I hope we've been able to plan and have some fun today, but if your house isn't ready for that hard freeze, try to do what you can with the limited time that we have left to kind of prep for that. Those temperatures are going to be in the lower 20s in general is where we're kind of leave that. We're below freezing again on Thursday morning, then we get closer to the freezing point on Friday morning, and then Friday afternoon I think is when we really begin to realize we're exiting this cold snap, and we'll be back. Maybe we'll call it January, more January-like temperatures when we get into the weekend, and we'll also be looking for some rain as well.